You're starting your Thursday, September 1st with Morning Glory. Good morning. I'm Brian Patrick with Gloria Purvis.
Good morning.
Jack Williams on sports. Elisa Murphy is our producer, and our godly counsel, Father Bjorn Lundberg.
We are blessed today because we have Jeanne Mancini, who's the president of March for Life, with us. And she was interviewed recently in The Blaze about pro-choice groups are petitioning the United Nations to declare an International Safe Abortion Day. Jeanne, can you tell us more about this development?
Sure. It's really so unfortunate because this whole understanding of abortion as health care is probably the first point to take up. We all know abortion isn't health care. I mean, it's taking the life, it's destroying the life of a beautiful, living, very healthy, growing being in most cases. And it's wounding the life of the mom and the dad who've been involved in abortion. So we've got this, what we're seeing are these abortion advocates now pushing for this and doing a petition at the UN and just making a big sort of advocacy push for this quote-unquote safe abortion day.
Yeah, all the time people in the culture are trying to make it sound, obviously pregnancy and delivery is a very important medical procedure and a woman's health is top priority. But it's always conveyed that pregnancy and child delivery is so dangerous. But then the argument's made, we want safe, legal, rare abortions. And meanwhile, people aren't aware of how many abortion facilities are so unsafe for women and that their health care really isn't a priority.
It's such a great point. We just saw the Supreme Court make a major decision related to life issues back in June, whole women's health. And we probably all remember it well, but they made such an unreasonable and unjust decision so that abortion clinics wouldn't have a high level of regulations. And the truth of the matter is that until recently, when good laws, like in Texas, HB 2, this one that was brought before the Supreme Court, until these laws were passed, abortion clinics were regulated less than beauty parlors, less than public pools. And so now what's happened is there's all sorts of confusion in the wake of the Supreme Court decision, and we've sort of returned to where we were before these states started implementing these good laws so that abortion clinics would basically be held to the same standards as other outpatient facilities that are doing surgeries. It's
fascinating because I know your work with the March for Life is growing and that marches are spreading all over the country. It's also going, though, international. 40 Days for Life is seeing this huge explosion around the world of campaigns. Do you have groups that you're coalitioning with around the world who are also trying to bring this question of, the reality of how dangerous abortion is and the need for medical regulation needs to be brought to the attention of governments?
Absolutely. I mean, you'd be amazed in the level of pro-life public policy, domestic and international. There's always, some maneuver on one side or the other. And so it's a day in, day out work. Some of the great groups that work internationally to promote the life cause and are working with these different organizations, to counter some of these bad trends. One is Congressman Chris Smith's wife, Marie Smith, runs a wonderful group, Parliamentarian Network of Critical Issues or something along those lines, and she does incredible work along those lines. And the CFAM, Catholic Family Institute, is very involved at the UN trying to really advocate for the inherent dignity of the human person from conception and natural death as well. So we're working, as much as we can in tandem with these folks. Of course, the March for Life, our work is more domestic, but we certainly want to weigh in on these kinds of things that have such an international push.
Jeanne, as I was looking into this International Safe Abortion Day, when you look at the hashtag that they have, it's about stopping prosecutions of abortionists. It's not really even about making sure abortions are safe for women. They're basically saying, don't prosecute us. We're not criminals, and that's the way you're going to keep abortion safe, by not prosecuting us. So even in their propaganda, it's not about the woman. It's about the person that makes the money.
Gloria, you've hit the nail on the head. I mean, so much of these issues are not about what it sounds like it's about. We talk about quote-unquote women's health. Read abortion, or we talk about safe abortion. Read more access to abortion but less regulated abortion. I mean, it's just unbelievable that the messaging can, for someone who hasn't done a lot of reading on this, it sounds so positive and it's kind of a no-brainer. Of course, it sounds great, but when you really get to what the underlying crux of the content of what they're asking for, it just doesn't even make sense. It's not reasonable.
Is there more work being done or continue to be done on the state level to bring issues about, medical regulations to the concerns of state governments so that these can continue to funnel up to the Supreme Court, so there might be a different look on how to handle some of these laws regulating the care of women in these centers?
Yes. And frankly, I mean, if you look at just our history for the last few years in the United States, there's been more done at the level of the states because you can be really creative with introducing good, common sense pro-life laws that will limit abortion at the level of the states. And just because of what we saw in June, meaning with the Supreme Court decisions, doesn't mean that we're going to stop, working at the level of the states. And frankly, the other thing is that whereas at the federal level, unfortunately, the life issues aren't often seen as a bipartisan thing. They should be, and we've got a few Democrats that are pro-life, but many now have, basically they're told that they can't be to be in that party. But you won't see that at the level of the states. In the states, it's a much more bipartisan issue, and so laws can get passed much more easily, pro-life protective laws. So, yes, I mean, emphatically, yes.
As we gear up for the March for Life this January, what are some of the things on your docket that you're looking forward to promote in terms of education or awareness for people who are preparing to come for the march and working with young people?
Well, that's a great question. Thanks, Father. We're going to announce our theme, and it's a very educational theme this year, and we're going to announce that on September 29th in a briefing on Capitol Hill open to the media. So if your listeners are interested, they might want to either attend or stay tuned to hear more about exactly what we're planning to do with this year's March for Life. But given that it's going to be a week after the presidential inauguration, and there's so much at stake with that this year, we think it's going to be a really, in some ways, maybe the most important March for Life ever, because it's really in the hands of the people that the life issues are going to be won.
Well, thank you, Jeanne, for your awesome work you're doing at the March, and we'll be continuing to follow your developments and look forward to participating this January.
Well, thank you, Father. It's just such an honor and a blessing to be on with you all. Thanks for having me.
Have a great day.
Thank you.